Well, hey, good afternoon, Wolf Nation, and we want to welcome everybody to joining us here at our weekly Facebook Live update as we're getting ready to kick off our school year. And we would like to start off thanking Craig Hall and the Heavener Ledger for broadcasting this for us and all that they do and giving us a lot of good support. We appreciate that. And just going to kind of go about our format, and I will introduce everyone here, but we have over here Lower Elementary Principal Ms. Cox. We have High School Assistant Principal Eddie Nelson joining us, High School Principal Robert Craig, Upper Elementary Grant Rawls, AD Athletic Director Girls Basketball Jimmy Rowe, and I'm Superintendent Ed Wilson. And we just want to start off, we got a little bit of different caveats of information, and we want to kind of get that out there and share it with all of our community and our parents and guardians and staff members, and also our community as well. And so, Diane, Ms. Cox, tell us a little bit.
All right. Well, we have made a few changes. We are having a policy into place where that we need the parents to call the school and make an appointment before they come to the school, and they will have to have a face mask on to come into the buildings. Parents are, for that first day of school, we are asking parents to stay in their vehicle because they're not going to be allowed to go into the cafeteria or into the elementary's buildings. And so if they'll just stay in their vehicle and let their children out, then we'll get their children where they need to go. Students will need to have their mask on when they get out of the vehicle so that we know that they have one for the day to carry out all the things that they will be doing. Actually, here is one of the lanyards that Mr. Wilson ordered for the district, and this is going to be very helpful, I know, for my younger children, and especially like the kindergartners, and that way they can just let it hang there when they don't need it and then put it on when they're ready for it. And the first day of school also, each classroom teacher will be sending home a temperature log sheet, and that is for each parent to take their temperature of the children, answer those questions, and saying that you're verifying that your child has checked out and is not running 100 degrees or more and is able to come to school for that day. We will still do temperature checks at the school, but we're asking that the parents do it, and that way that may save you from having to come to the school and pick your child up if you will do that. And then at the beginning of each month, we'll send a new sheet home every month so that we can continue to do that as long as the health department wants us to do that. Since we did not start school on our original beginning date, we have changed our deadline to choose whether you want to do virtual or not. And so the final day to do that for the elementary is August the 24th. And we will need for sure to know by then. The sooner the better, because then that lets us help you get prepared. So the sooner you can tell us if you want to do virtual, the better it will be. Our virtual training that we have scheduled for Tuesday at 9 o'clock in the cafeteria is booked full. So we may have to reschedule another date for that because we are full with how many families we can fit into the cafeteria right now. So we'll see how that one goes, and then get with any of the new virtual students and their families and see if they want us to help train them as well.
Like on a parent orientation, we may have to do 2 classes.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And for those that are coming Tuesday, that's when you will get your students' devices to take home for their virtual training. And for the lower grades, there may be some textbooks or some other things that the classroom teachers are wanting the children to have at home. So the teachers will have that ready at that time too for anyone that is coming for that training that day. Now, anyone that has signed up for virtual and is not going to be able to make it to that training day, then they can call the elementary office and schedule a time to come by the office to pick up their Chrome device and any textbooks that they need to get. Okay? And I think the final thing I have on my notes as of right now, unless I think of something later, is that our virtual house is almost ready. And we plan on having that posted on our Heavener Schools Facebook on Tuesday. So start looking for that. It's just a way that we were able to introduce all the teachers, show you the classrooms, and just show you around the building a little bit, since we can't let you all in the building. So that's all I have.
And just to clarify a little bit, she gave you a little bit of a heads up there about what our return to learn plan, kind of coming out, and having the mask on, that's going to be required, in the hallways, in the cafeteria lines, in the library lines, any place like that, in transition, things like that. That is for the faculty, staff, and the students, and therefore, when you're in the hallway as a visitor, that's why the requirement for the mask is going to exist there, because those are going to be the mask zones, so to speak. Okay, once they get into the classroom, they can choose to keep it on or not. But anyway, just to kind of go on, and we'll get it. That was just a little snippet of that, but we'll get into a little bit more of that here in just a little bit. We're going to move to assistant principal or principal. Y'all have any words y'all want to?
Yes, basically we're going to tag team this today, and I'm going to start off with the mask. Like, this is just a custom mask you can buy or make, or you can go to one of them like Mr. Wilson has on his face, but we are requiring it for everyone that rides a bus. Little or big, we want you to have a mask when you get on, and we're also in the hallway, we want a mask, and then when you're in the cafeteria line, you may wear them in the classroom, make you feel better, and it would just help the spread of the COVID virus. So I'm encouraging everyone to wear a mask as much as you can up here at school. And I would ask for the parents to please check your students or your children and see if they have a fever in the morning. If they have 100 degrees or above, please just keep them home. So we're trying to stop all the spread of this, and hopefully that's going to work. Mr. Nelson?
I want to talk about the Chromebooks for just a moment. If your child had a Chromebook last year and did not get that turned in, it needs to be turned in before school starts. You can call the school there and make an appointment time to come up, or drive up and see if we're there. It should be somebody there, but it'd be best if you called and asked to check and see what time. If your child turned in a broken computer or a missing power cord, or missing charger, or there's two parts to the charger, or the missing case, then you will need to have that paid before school starts. There's different prices on that because of different varieties of Chromebooks we've used, but that is very important that they get it paid, get arrangements made before school starts, so that they can have their Chromebook to do the virtual school and the virtual learning days that we have.
And who would they check with that? Would they check with the office? They would know?
Check with the office, and
okay.
We will have a list, and we'll be sending a letter out.
Okay, there you go. Good, yeah. Just trying to make sure that we get all those devices geared up and ready.
Yes.
That's right. You
yes.
bet. You bet.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Mr. Aaron Scroggins and Joe Rena are setting up a virtual video for the parents of the virtual students. They're going to show it on the 18th at 9 o'clock in the PAC Center, where they can, every parent who's got a kid that's doing virtual, so you're able to look and see, to check on your child. Make sure they're able to do the work and doing the work. This way they can take care of it. But other than that, we look forward to seeing every one of the high school students come here. Can't wait to see you on the bus, and can't wait to see you at school.
Yeah. But talking a little bit about the buses there, Wolf Nation, I mean, just like, that's any transportation that we have. That doesn't mean just our bus riders that ride to school and from school, but that's also any of our athletics, the board recently implemented that, and approved that plan, transportation, and we have a team that's going today, and in order to mitigate the spread of that COVID, and try to keep everything, those student athletes are wearing masks as they travel on a bus. Mr. Rawls, Upper Elementary.
Well, I'll tell you what, kind of like Mr. Wilson and Ms. Cox and the other gentleman, and as you well, we're ready to get started. This is, it gets old sitting around and doing, well, I say sitting around, we're not sitting around, but getting all this work done and everything else. we need students. We need to get here and get started and get the education process going. But understand, safety is our #1 factor. And the biggest thing is, people, we got to wear the mask. When we're in the hallways and out and about, we have to wear the mask. Now, in the classrooms, the teachers will be allowed to take their mask off as long as there's enough room to social distance and go from there. And, at least arm's length away. I'm not quite 6 foot arm length long, but we'd like to have some basketball players like that, but, sometimes that don't happen. But the students will be able to take their mask also off in the classrooms. Also, like these guys have already talked about, next Tuesday, the 18th at 9 a.m. in the morning, we'll be doing a virtual workshop for the parents. If you have any questions, come, let's get these, get it ready to go. Also, you'll be able to pick up the devices and go from there. And like Ms. Cox said, if you can't make the meeting, you need to pick up a device. We're trying to wait till at least the next day to start before we pick those devices up, so we'll have them ready to go. COVID screening sheets and stuff they'll be sending home with the students. Make sure you check those temperatures and fill them out, and have them in case we need them. And as far as I know, we're ready to go. So ready to get started.
All right. Thank you. Now we're going to go over here to Athletic Director, Coach Jimmy Roll.
Well, no news is good news, I guess. Always they say, as of this morning, everything's, we're good to go. We're going to have all athletics are going to continue unless something, drastically happens, which we're hoping and praying that it doesn't. I just want to go over 2 or 3 things with you that, our softball and our cross country will be well, softball's already started. Football will be starting next Friday night. Just want to remind all our fans and everybody that comes through the gate, there'll be a temperature check. There'll be a COVID sheet there where you have to answer a few questions. We'll take your temperature just in case of, tracing. Number 2, and everybody's elaborated already, but any bus trip that we take, athletes will have to wear a mask. If they forget one, we should have some. We'll have some on the bus just in case, but we're asking that you bring them when you can. And the 3rd thing, we have a football scrimmage next Friday night. We're all anxious to get this started. The past 3 or 4 years for the scrimmage in our community has been great. We're going to ask for a canned food for a mission. And after the canned foods are given to the churches to help people who need some canned foods. So we appreciate all that support. And we just ask you that when you come to games, be mindful and try to practice our social distancing. We're not saying you have to wear a mask, but
If you want to, though.
if you want to, hey, we
We highly recommend
yeah,
it.
highly recommend it. That's great, because the safer we can be, and the more precautious we are, maybe we can get through all our athletics, without any interruptions.
That's right.
So-
That's right. And
If we had just one question, when is the virtual learning going to be?
The training is Tuesday, the 18th at 9 o'clock in the cafeteria.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
And then kind of, touch base just a little bit here on the athletics before we, get off that. We realize that there's an admission charge, okay? So, you may want to bring exact change.
Yes.
People are worried about, the touching of money and funds and things like that. Write us a check, we'll take that, I guess you will, won't you?
Yes, we'll get that out to
Yeah.
the Healer Ledger, so they can we'll put the prices so they'll know ahead of time.
Amen. But if there is going to be some type of exchange of money, and that type of thing, we may, if you got the exact amount, we're going to have like a bucket there where you can just place it in there, and then, we may be using like a dinner tray, to slide it back and forth just to kind of, and it's all, and I know some people's going to say, well, hey man, you're going overboard. No, no, we're not. We're trying just to be safe, trying to mitigate. And we're trying to take all the safety precautions that we can, because this helps ease people's minds, and if they're at ease, then maybe we are doing something that's really good. To keep people's feelings in check here, and let them know that, yes, we are taking it serious, things like that. So anyway, just kind of wanted to jump in there. What else you guys? Is that it?
Yeah, I just don't think you
Ed, one more
be too safe.
question. Is the school year going to start and end at the same time of the day this year as it did last year?
The actual daytime, the actual hours in the day, 7:50 first bell, last bell 3:25. And that's because we've had an increase of 3 minutes throughout the day on in between our classes. We did that to mitigate, and to try to ease, a little bit of the crowding in the hallways. We went from 5 minutes to 8 minutes in between. So anyway, 7:50 to 3:25.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Now, to kind of go through here and let you speaking from the district perspective, you've heard a lot of site perspectives here. Just to kind of go a little bit here, the community, the parents, the guardians, our Board of Education, our last board meeting, they recently approved, the document. It's called Return to Learn, the one that we're going to be utilizing. That talks about our transportation. It talks about our daily routines. It talks about our, our cleansing and disinfecting and things like that. And that's kind of a broad plan that's been put together. You get a template here and you get a template there, and you kind of tailor that to what's specific, for your district and where how it can fit in based on the needs and assessments and then also the resources that you have at your local district. And so by doing that, we come together and we had that through our admin leadership team. We put together that document, what's based on what's a good fit for us. Well, that document is located. Now it's on our website. We haven't loaded. There's a tab up there that says COVID-19 information. And if you'll click that, it's got that Return to Learn document, and it gives you just kind of a whole lot about what they've said at their sites, about the masks being worn in hallways, about the masks being on the buses. It talks about while we're in transition, what are we going to do in the cafeteria lines, and hand sanitizer. We got hand sanitizer. We're in the classrooms and things like that, which we've been talking to our public and our community for quite some time. We've already been introducing these concepts and these thoughts out there, but now you can go in there and you can read it, specific and whatnot. Also, there is a COVID-19 response guide that was put together by. It says the COVID-19 response guide to Southeastern Oklahoma schools. It was a broad plan that was put together by several schools, in the area, and so when they come together. It had the stamp of the Oklahoma State Department of Health, the Southeastern Regional Director. She was very helpful and instrumental in putting this response guide into practice and stuff. And so there's also a link there that you can click on and you can read the response guide. It talks in there about what happens if we have a temperature. It talks in there about what happens, at the elementary if there is a positive case. It also talks in there, and describes what the procedure is going to be if there's a positive case of COVID that, at the high school or even at the junior high where we're switching classes, it's got some guidance in there about seating charts because, that's going to be something that the health department's going to ask. If there's a positive test, they're going to want that seating chart because they're going to want to know who's within the contact tracing, and if you're in, close proximity or something like that. That's why all those documents are there. Those screening documents that talked about, do you have a cough? Have you lost your, ability to smell and taste? Do you have a fever? Have you been around anybody that has COVID-19? Have you been exposed? Those are all symptoms, okay? If you answer yes to any of these, then you don't need to come that day, okay? And then of course you've got your temperature. Those are the forms that Mrs. Cox was referring to that we will be sending home. They are already there. If you want to print some off, you can see that copy right there, so get it and print it off. But we will be sending those home. Those are all just different layers of safety that we're trying to implement, okay? And then when we look at also how are we going to, it talks about the length of days of quarantine. It talks about the length of days in there. Now, I'll tell you that's fluid because, the the CDC and the health department, some of those days are fluid. So the document is fluid. It is a guide, and that's what we're going to go by. But it is going to evolve and change as we go through it. And so just kind of talk a little bit about that. Let me talk to you a little bit about the Return to Learn document. All right, I went over that. Thank you very much. Oh, and here's some good news. We want to say a big thank you to our community, because back before all this hit, the COVID and whatnot, we asked y'all all last year, community, we asked them, we need you to fill out these free and reduced lunch forms. We need you to fill out these free and reduced lunch forms and all that. Fill out these forms. Well, they did, and that turnaround, and because that's so vital and so beneficial to us, because what we've jumped into now is that we get to do what's called the community eligible program again. All right, we qualified for that. That's where all of our students get to eat a free breakfast and a free lunch. And so that, I'm telling you, thank you, parents and guardians, for getting that out there and getting those forms taken care of and getting them back to us, because I'm telling you, that's a good thing for our community, okay? And so we're very appreciative of that. You got a question there?
Yeah, I got a couple. What first was it's just going to be a typical Monday through Friday class schedule at this time?
We're fixing to cover that just a little bit. Yeah.
And one more, the documents you were talking about, the Return to Learn and everything. Is that online anywhere, like on the school website?
That's correct. It's on the school website. And if you'll look right up at the top, it says COVID-19 documents. And if you'll click that tab, it'll open up. I think there's 2 or 3 links right in there that it'll have. So, yeah. Okay, and then, and then just talking a little bit about, somebody was asking, is it going to be a Monday, which is, hey, that's a good question right now at this point in time. Are we going to have a Monday through Friday schedule? All right, the answer to that's going to be yes and yes, okay? But let me explain how it's going to, what we're currently looking at, okay? Right now, as we look and as we speak, okay, yes, we are set to start August the 20th, and we're set to roll just like we normally would, all right? However, if you go to www.coronavirus.health.ok.gov/COVID-19 alert system, you're going to see that there is a color chart, a color code for the entire state. Each county is broken down into, okay? And, and it's got green, everything's good. Yellow, low alert, low, danger level. You get to orange, it turns into moderate. You get to red, it's not good, okay? Well, our county has been operating in the yellow for quite some time, a really long time. However, just last Friday, it did uptick to orange, okay? So with that uptick, and they updated on Friday. And so last Friday's when we seen that, okay? And we've already had our admin meetings. We meet on Mondays and Wednesdays, and so then we do our Facebook Live, and then we come back, and then they update that alert system, and it goes from yellow, which was low, to orange, which is moderate for the county. They got a mathematical formula. It's based on the number of cases, but it's also talking about, based on 100,000 population. So, I'm sure they adjusted how they do mathematically. Well, it was, we had already, we seen it, so we're already done, for the week. And through the weekend, I'm just, thinking, spinning, my mind's, spinning. And so we come back Monday morning with our admin meeting, and we start brainstorming, okay? And we start trying to figure out, now this thing, if it's uptick, what are we going to do? If it's uptick, what are we going to do? And so we come up with a plan that we did discuss, okay? We did discuss it with our board members Monday night at our board meeting. And this is where we're at on this. If this thing stays orange or if it keeps upticking, we are looking, okay, at rolling out on the 20th, go that Thursday, Friday. Students here traditionally. Now, if you're virtual, this doesn't even apply to you, correct?
Correct.
All right. If you're virtual, this doesn't apply. This is for the traditional and the blended, okay? You come to school Thursday, Friday, 2021. We get devices in your hand. we start laying the groundwork, we start laying out what our, this is what we start the educational process. We come back to Monday the 24th, Tuesday the 25th, and then we're still working, we're giving you assignments, we're getting things lined up, we're trying to get, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, students are on the DL. You're on, not the download, you're on the distance learning, all right? That's where we're going to go distance learning on that. You're going to have homework, you got to check in, you got to hit your clever, but you're going to learn that Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. You're going to learn all that information from these good people here and your teachers. And then at that point, we do that for 3 weeks. Then we come back, we go Monday, Tuesday, in person, go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, go on the distance learning program, come back, do that for 3 weeks. That gives us a chance to monitor where we are on this COVID alert system right here. And by doing so, then we can adjust, okay? If it looks like it's going to uptick more, we may continue that. Or if it gets bad enough, we may have to go all out DL, for the week, for a week, maybe all 5 days, But we give ourselves that 3 week period, and it's right after Labor Day, I think is the 3rd week if I remember right. But anyway, and it gets us through that 3 week period, and that way we get to monitor this COVID alert system for our county. And then we even try to drill it down a little bit to our exact zip code, just to be honest with you, okay? And so we do that. Now, if it looks like it's starting to swinging the other way and start coming down, then we start incrementally increasing our time face-to-face, Yeah. Our teachers will still be here, even on the distance learning days, because they're going to have to utilize their classrooms for, the bandwidth and the computers and the devices. We'll still be working here at the school. We just won't have students, because that way we can help control the masses and get the mitigation out there. And so we think that that's a good plan. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to let you know probably till Monday after we look at that, that Friday, see what the update is on the, see where we stand. As it went the other way, then, we'll update. If it's, if it's going, it's still rising, then guess what? We may have to do something different. And but we will make an announcement by Monday. That's kind of our game plan and what. And so as we are transitioning into that. And so we think that's a good plan. We think that's a good start. We think that's puts a lot of safety measures in place. And anybody got anything to add to that?
Lunches for the bus.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the meals, right? Is that right? Yeah. All right, very good. That's why I got my team here, all right, because they help remind me of things. And what we do also, I talked to you about the feeding. Okay, we're going to feed. Yes, we would feed if we were if we were face to face, the traditional days. But that Wednesday, we're going to run our bus route on those DL days. If we go to that, we're going to run our bus routes, okay? And when we want to run those routes, we're going to have 3 days worth of meals, okay? 6 meals. We're going to have those 6 meals, and we're going to run our routes. We're also going to have our grab and go line that we can distribute. If you don't ride a bus or you live in town, you got to come. Now here's the thing, this is different from the summer feeding, okay? You have to be enrolled at our school for us to give you a meal, okay? Before in the summer feeding, it was open to anybody that was 0 to 18, but now because the school year has started, that applies specifically for kids that are enrolled. We can only give a meal to kids that are enrolled in our district at that point, okay? So, that's not Heavener Public Schools rules, that's the state of Oklahoma and the U.S. Department of Agriculture rule, okay? So, but anyway, just know that. But we do have that feeding, and we are going to do that. So you can walk up here to the cafeteria and get a meal. You can get 3 days worth of meals or you can drive up here and get 3 days worth of meals, or you can, if you ride a bus, we will send those bus routes out and we'll deliver those meals. Now, you're going to have your QR code, the one that we're going to be using. You're going to have that, or your lunch number, or sign off, or if a parent comes and gets it, we're going to have your name so we can match it with a student. There has to be a whole lot of, okay, just a whole lot of it. You got to be able to identify and match whoever picked that meal up with that kid, okay? It has to be a parent, a guardian or something like that, But we've got to be able to match that up. So,
And
yes.
one person asked, will the meals apply to preschool kids
I believe that
also?
is correct, isn't
I
it?
think
Yes,
it is,
yes, it
yeah.
is, yes. Mhm. Yes, same way, same apparatus applies, about trying to pick them up, they can get them on the bus, they can get them, you know what I'm saying, grab and go at the cafeteria, or they can, I guess they could walk over there if they live close enough or whatever, but they do, yes, sir, yeah, all of our kids, yeah. All right. Has anybody got any questions, Craig, over the 3-day, 2-day?
Yeah, we're up to date on it right now, I
Okay,
believe.
good deal. Well, just to kind of move on, here's our CEP. Let me check that off, okay? Some good news, though. We were talking about masks, and yeah, we have some masks, you know what I'm saying? And yes, parents, we've been talking to you for a good long while, parents and guardians, please start, don't wait, please start getting you some masks, whether they're disposable, that's fine. If they're reusable, that's great too. That's probably what I would get. I'd get a reusable mask for my children, you know what I'm saying? But, we've even put it on our supply list on a few of them, you know what I'm saying? Well, we want those, okay? That's good. Governor's going to be sending some masks down here for the kiddos too, so you're going to get, and technically, and just think about it. I mean, if we're in school 5 days a week, you need 5 masks if you got to reuse it. Unless you want to wash it every day, or something like that. That's your business. You can wash it every day and you'll be fine. But the more of them you have, I think the better off you'd be. You know what I'm saying? And trying to keep the COVID spread. But the governor is going to be sending masks to every student in the state, and we're appreciative of the governor doing that. We think that's a fine thing. He's also sending masks to the faculty and staff, and so we're appreciative of that. That's a very good program. Very good program, all right? And then also additional personal protective equipment. We have some face shields for our faculty and staff, which is could be a good thing. And I kind of want to back up just a little bit, on that time, and Mrs. Cox is also our special needs director. And let me just say, if you have a special needs student, you know what I'm saying, please reach out to Ms. Cox. She's our special education director, okay? Please reach out to her, because if there's something that we need to do, or for some accommodation, or for something we need to look at, we know that some students, and they don't have to, they can be on the 504 as well, other health impaired. We know that masks, okay, when we say that you got to wear a mask, that is, but if there's a medical, like asthma and stuff, you need to bring that out and point that out to your site principals and let them work with you that, okay? Because we're going to work. We're going to try to do what's, best for everybody, but we also understand that we may need to, make some adjustments with some of the students. So I'm glad we thought about that, okay?
And I got a question, I guess this is for Coach Roll. Had a person asked about practicing sports on the DL days,
On the what day?
on the Wednesday through Friday.
Yes, we'll have the, whatever sport we're in, basketball,
Practice games.
yes. Nothing will change as far as that goes. They'll still be required to come up and practice and meet whatever, stipulations the coaches have.
And those practices are already those procedures are already in practice. Our student athletes, those coaches are taking precautions. They're already wearing their coverings, whether it's a gaiter or a mask, while they're instructing those kiddos and stuff. And so, they're getting out there and they're trying to make that happen. So, we've been pretty pleased with that. We actually had a junior high softball game last Friday where we had a visiting team that come up, and I'll tell you, the visiting team, the very next day, their administration and just people from that community sent me emails, very, very complimentary of the way that we had that sheet, took their temperature, asked the questions, okay, because they were like, yes. And, in that school there's probably going to wind up doing it too, because they were very appreciative of the fact that we are trying to look out not only for our kids' safety, okay, but also for their kids and their parents and their fans. And so, man, that just made me feel really, really good, So, anyway, kind of go a little bit, talking about the different layers. We've talked about the mask. We've talked about the hand sanitizer and things like that. We have purchased 7 of these temperature scan kiosks. Okay, they are portable, but we can move them around. But we're gonna they're en route. Okay, we're hoping that we'll have them up. We have a wonderful technology team. You heard them mentioned before, Aaron Scroggins and Jarena Stapp. They do a wonderful job. We put them on, I think, work overload right now, but you know, hey, they're rising to the occasion. Okay, but when we get those kiosks in, those temperature kiosks, you know, it's got the capability of funneling 30 kids a minute through there. Okay. And so that will aid in you know, identifying temperature, you know, as one of the symptoms that could be recognized with COVID-19. But we'll have those up, and when we do, we're going to take some pictures and kind of show, you know, get them out to our general public and see, you know, to our patrons and community and show you what that looks like, you know. But that's just another layer of safety that we're looking at, okay? Speaking of safety, there's a
Security dog.
security dog right there. Yeah. But anyway, but we're taking those extra layers of security like that, or excuse me, security, extra layers of protection. And so another item that and I'm telling you, we feel very, very, very fortunate to have found these. These are fogger mister sprayers where you put your disinfectant in there with some water. It's got a battery, you know, and then we've got 6 of these. I'm just telling you, we were blessed to be able to find these because these have been in short supply even back in the fall before Corona ever hit. And so to be able to find these, we were very fortunate. We've got our district 6 of these type with these batteries that are portable. It's got these rechargeable batteries to use, you know, in across the campuses. To utilize them on the bus. You know, they've got some that they can utilize, and so that's another added way that we kind of help. And it's not just, you know, keeping COVID down. It's keeping the stomach bug, keeping the flu, keeping it all down. Disinfect, highly disinfect, you know, things like that. And so we're really excited, and we feel like we was pretty fortunate to be able to get those. We did find a bigger one that we have too. That's it's electric. It runs with a cord, but it has a bigger hopper, and we're going to use it in larger areas. Our maintenance chief, Mr. Heebner, he's great. Him and his crew, you know, about helping us, you know, stay healthy. And listen, this, you know, COVID is new, yes, but disinfecting for a campus and keeping us, you know, even when the flu, you know, when a lot of schools, you know, in the state, you know, the past years, when their absentee rate was climbing up there in the 20s, you know, ours may be, you know, 10, 14, 15, you know, that is a climb and it is high, but it wasn't high enough for us to have to miss school, and we attribute a lot of that to, you know, what our janitorial and custodial staff and the hard work that they're willing to do. A lot of unsung heroes here behind the scenes that a lot of people don't realize, you know, that take place. And I'm telling you, we got a really good crew of people that we're very appreciative of. And so, anyway, just wanted to talk to you a little bit about those cordless foggers in our temperature check kiosk. Again, those have been shipped. We're excited about those. We're excited about these foggers. I tell you, we think that that's going to just add us another layer of being able to disinfect and be safe. And then just one other little thing that I've got here that I wanted to talk to you a little bit about is, you know, here's just a little bit of data that I actually found. And I just happened to stumble across this in an article that was talking about school nurses. And it was talking about a district that had added a school nurse, and they had a good, you know, it was a good article for their community and for their public, you know, and you know, and how they were adding it at the right, you know, time and appropriate time. And man, it is good, very good. But out of that, there's 547 districts across the state of Oklahoma. 147 of them have school nurses. One of them's right here. One of them is Heebner Public Schools. I've been here for 26 years, and we've had a school nurse. I know and I know it's even longer than that, because some of the people that I work with have went to school here, graduated here, and they can tell me that, well, we had a nurse, you know, so-and-so and so-and-so. So I really can't pinpoint the number of years that we've had a school nurse, but that speaks very, very well of a community that placed a high emphasis on student health, maybe as far as back as 30 to 40 years ago.
Longer, back in the 70s.
Back in the 70s, thank you, Ms.
At
Cox.
least.
At least in the 70s.
Miss Freeman.
Yes.
Miss Freeman, there you go. So, you know, is that cutting edge at the time? I'm sure it was. You know what I'm saying?
Cutting edge now.
Cutting edge now, apparently.
Yeah.
Exactly, you know what I'm saying? But just think about that, though. Think about a school system. Think about a community that's from rural Oklahoma that had the forethought to think, okay, we need health personnel in our district, on our campuses, okay? And I'm telling you, that's something to be proud of, you know what I'm saying? And I don't mean proud as in prideful, I mean proud of the fact that we're taking care of, you know, that the forefathers before us thought enough about health and safety, and now we just get to carry that torch, okay? And now we get to carry a torch in a whole other manner that's even, you know, maybe more difficult than what it ever has been because of something like COVID-19. But again, I thought that was pretty interesting tidbit, you know, to realize that that came from the State Department of Education. There was a little article and it said, you know, out of the 547 school districts, 147 of them had a school nurse. So that meant, you know, roughly 400 schools across the state, you know, doesn't have one. And so, anyway, now that's neither here nor there, but I think that's something that's worth noting. Yes, sir.
Had one question, will they have dividers on the desk? I said I think the desks are just separated, is that correct?
Most of the desks are separated. And
I have a lot
yeah.
in the lower elementaries that do have the dividers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. But the older student looking desks, those are in what y'all do, one directional seating.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, one directional seating. And, you know, and listen, our teachers out there in Wolf Nation, I'm going to tell you something. Our teachers, our instructors, our site administrators, okay, all the way up to the district level, all right, we realize that social distancing is, you know, is a big component of helping mitigate this. But I'm just going to tell you, you know, classrooms, it's hard. It's going to be hard. Classrooms are not built, they're not the size to accommodate social distancing at a maximum allowable space, okay? We just know that. You put 25, 30 kids in the classroom, it's going to be crowded. But that's why you've got those directional seatings. That's why they put the dividers up. And it's all about, and listen, our teachers, nice day outside, they can take their kids and they can instruct outside, you know, when the weather's appropriate, of course. We've even gave our all of our sites, you know, lunch. The administration there, they give their, you know, they're okay as long as they know where the kids are at and the instructor. But if a certain grade wants to go outside and eat lunch that day, it's going to be allowable as long as the weather's appropriate, you know. Riding the bus, windows down. In the classroom, windows up. You know what I'm saying? Where you can get the airflow, you know, if you want to. All the costs if it's, you know, weather appropriate. Yes, sir.
And, are there a certain number of students that will be allowed in each class?
There'll be no minimum number. No, we don't have the space or the budget for that.
And somebody's also asking about the hot spots, if you can kind of explain.
Oh, yeah,
what's
okay.
going on with
Well,
that.
yeah, the hot spots. That was a competitive grant that we did was successful in getting. In those hot spots, if you now there are some qualifications. It's, you know, based on income, low income, I believe. But if you feel like, be sure to ask about them. Okay, no matter, because if you think, well, I might too much. Go ahead and ask about it. Okay, if you need the internet connectivity, go ahead and ask about it. Because here's the thing. You may be able to qualify, you see what I'm saying? And so we want to be able to put those in hand, okay? Now, here's the thing. We also are putting them, we've got connectivity at this building, we've got connectivity in the parking lot over at the high school, the elementary, all across the campus over there. Our library, our public library here in town, they're going to have connectivity. So if you live in this area, you know, you live in our community and you don't have connectivity and you don't qualify for a hotspot, you can come to one of these hubs or one of these areas. We're trying to push some out into the rural geographic areas of our district, and we've got several churches that are going to allow us to implement them there too. So anyway, we're just waiting for those devices to come in. But listen, it doesn't hurt to ask, okay? If you don't have the connectivity and you would like to check on them, be sure to ask one of your site principals. All right. Anything else, Mr. Hall?
No, that's it right now.
That's it? Okay. Well, hey, we want to just take this time and thank everybody for, and listen, we know that it's it's a challenging time. We know it's a little bit different time. We're ready to get started. We're ready. We're ready to get it going. But we know it's going to take patience. We know it's going to take understanding. It's going to take time, patience, and understanding from both sides. Yes, sir.
Okay, one question is, are they going to be using textbooks or is everything going to be on the Chromebooks?
Both. Yeah, both. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That's correct. All right, both. Yeah, they're going to be trying to a lot of our textbooks are on the Chromebooks, in the digital fashion. But some of those that are not, they will push that textbook out there as well. But where we were going, we were talking about, a little bit about how, this is going to be some point to where, it's going to take a lot of patience and understanding, on our part. It's going to take patience and understanding on, our parents and guardians' parts as well. And so, and I'm going to tell you, we're going to get through it. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get through this, and we're going to rise, and we're going to, we're going to do the, we're going to do a great job. Our community's going to pull together. Our staff is going to pull together, and we're going to educate these kids in this community, and we're going to do an outstanding job at it. We're going to grow as we do it, but we're going to get there, And you've heard me say it many, many times. Okay, we've never opened a school year like this with COVID-19, but we also understand that parents have never sent their kids to school to an opening school year like this with COVID-19. We have said this, it's kind of been a little bit of my mantra. We know the schools that we walk into beginning August the 20th is certainly different from the school that we walked out of March the 13th. We know that those are different, but we still know that it's going to be good. And we're going to do the best that we can, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to try everything we can, and we're going to try to educate, and we're going to try to do it in a safe fashion. Does that mean that we won't have any COVID? I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you that. But I can tell you we're going to work hard at educating your kid, and we're going to work hard at trying to protect our community the best we can. Anything before we close?
I did think of something,
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Wilson,
All
when
right.
you brought up the fogger. Joe Heavner went and got those gallon spray jugs
Yes, ma'am.
for us to take out on the playground. And the way my pre-K through 5th grade is, each class will be just self-contained their entire day. They will be with their own class, not the whole grade level.
Right.
So when a class goes out to recess, that playground equipment will be sprayed before another class goes out to get on the playground equipment, because we have, I think, 6 of those jugs with the disinfectant already at my office ready for us to use that.
There you
So,
go. Yeah.
And I thought about that when you brought your
Oh, yes,
fogger
ma'am.
out.
Yeah, to disinfect that equipment, that playground.
Yeah, so we'll have it for over at this playground and the pre-K and kindergarten playground as well.
Right on. Yeah, good deal.
We did have one watcher say that she feels very good about her child going back to school, and HPS has a very good plan in place. So.
Well, thank you. That means a lot, because I'm telling you, we feel like that we've put a lot of time, energy, and effort trying to figure it out. Do we have all the answers? No, because we know that's what we talked, in our admin meeting and visiting. When I was over at Mrs. Cox, she had a teachers meeting today, and we were visiting. We know that there's going to be things and questions and something come up that that we may not have thought of, but we'll certainly put our heads together and try to figure it out. I think that's it for us. Craig, thank you. Wolf Nation, we appreciate you out there. Listen, if you need anything, you don't hesitate to call any of these individuals right here to try, and we'll answer your question, and we'll certainly do the best we can to help you. Listen, we want your kid, whether they're virtual, blended, or in the traditional fashion. We want you to be a wolf no matter what. Thank you.